everybody, welcome back to my channel today. This video, as you saw from the title and thumbnail, it is actually my flawless face or my glowy face or how I do my face. I haven't quite worked out what to call it yet, but the reason why I wanted to do this video is just to show you like literally how I can do my face to the way that I like it. There's nothing to say that you have to do it in this way, but this is how I prefer to have my face looking with everything. So foundation, blush, bronzer, etc. That's what this video entails, is just how I achieve this look. And obviously if you want to do it as well, fantastic, I'd love that. Otherwise, if not, that's fine. Everything that I'm using will always be linked in the description. Just as another disclaimer, I actually did my eyes and lips in another video, which during it I'm going to link it or have a little pop-up come up on the screen for you. And same with my eyebrows. I did that in another separate video. Feel free to watch them if you want to, otherwise that's fine. I'm more than happy for you guys just to watch this. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop talking now so you can actually watch how I do my face. So starting out first, we're going to be doing foundation. I do have primers, but I don't always use them because I actually don't think that they really do anything to my personal preference. So sometimes I wear them, sometimes I don't. But otherwise, getting straight into the face now with the foundation, I use these two here. I like to mix them together because, so the Mecca Max is the first one. It's a long wear life proof foundation in the shade Porcelain, and I use the Revlon combination to oily skin in the shade Sand Beige. I mix them together, one because of the shade, like the shades between them, they are quite different. Like this one actually comes out quite a lot lighter on the skin and this one's a little bit darker. So I mix them together for the shade, and because the Mecca one, it has more of a like dewy light finish, and then the Revlon one actually has more of a matte finish, as well as it does come out more full coverage, so more like medium to full coverage. And I actually like the in-between. I like dewy, but I also like having matte in certain areas of my face, like in like the T-zone area. So I always mix them together in the back of my hand, doing about, a pump. I do about a pump and a half of each shade on the back of my hand, like that. And then I mix them together. So if I go in with a brush, I use like a slightly dense, rounded dome brush. Mix them together in the back of my hand. And then start buffing into my face, starting from the center and then working my way out. Just get it all over that center area, just like that. And then I'm gonna start buffing it in. So once I'm pretty happy with it, I'll always just like have a look in the mirror quite closely to see if there's any brush marks, and that's when I start to dab it out. So now I'm going to do concealer, and I'll be using the Designer Brands Take Cover Mineral Concealer in the shade Nude. So this one is really matte, which is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. The only thing is I have actually tried to look to see if they do this particular one, which they don't. They only do the more hydrating version, which is probably even better. I just haven't tried it myself, but I'll still link it below, that one, because I'm sure it should work pretty much very similar. But one thing to note with this concealer, the matte version, is a little goes a long way. And so I'm going to be using this down on the inner corner and a little bit out here. And with the type of brush I'm going to use, it's a Real Techniques contour brush, but I'm obviously not contouring. So that's the brush there. It's like more rounded and a slight point up here. And I like to use this brush because one, it is a little bit more flexible and I can get into there without, you know, having a big mess made or with it irritating my eye. I'm only going to put a few light dots of the concealer in my eyes. Literally a little goes so long. Same under the other eye. I'm also going to do the eyelid to prep it for eyeshadow, but that's not going to be in this video, so I'll do like a little video right up here for that particular eyeshadow look in case you're interested when you see it at the beginning and the end of this video. But I'll link it right up here. That side or that side? I don't know which side. I'll figure it out. But you'll see it pop up anyway. So when I do actually prep my eyes for eyeshadow, literally the same concealer. This time I actually swipe it, still very thin layer, but I swipe it across the eye and bringing it out here. And that's because a lot of my eyeshadow I like to bring out in that area. It's a very thin layer. Same on the other eye. So now to set that concealer in place, I'm going to use my Revlon Sculpt and Highlight. So they don't actually do this one anymore. I can't remember the other palette that they do that's similar, but I will link that one instead because I'm sure they'll have very similar shades of this anyway. But I'm going into the banana shade to set under and on top of my eye. So just this one here. So I've got the same brush actually, I forgot to show, I've just got the same brush except for this one's clean for the banana shade. And with the original concealer brush, I like to make sure I've got all of the creases buffed out before I set it with the banana powder. But only a light amount. Same on the other side. So I'm going to set the entire face with my Australis Fresh and Flawless face powder in light beige. I will only use a very small amount with obviously a big powder brush. So I've just tapped it in a couple times and then I just like to shake off and tap off any excess, and I start at the chin because that's always where I get the most oily, and a little dab like that, and then whatever's left I'll blend out. So that's taking care of my entire face with the smallest amount of product. And I had a clean brush and it pretty much still looks clean. So that's how much product I used, which was not much. Right, so on to contouring and bronzing. I essentially use contouring and bronzing in the same area. And that's just my preference. So I'll show you what I do for my face and what I like on my face. But do not feel like you have to do it in this way. This is just how I like to do it. So still using my Revlon palette. This one down here is the sculpting or contouring shade. So the actual color, the shade I've got is light medium, because obviously I'm quite a pale person, but with an angled brush. And so I will always start up here and then come down with that angle. So up here is where I have the angle going there, and then I tend to twist the brush down when I come down here. Now coming up, I go into the hairline. And I'll go down either side of my nose just with the contouring shade again. And I actually like to turn it into the front of the eyebrows. So I don't do it to completely like make my nose super skinny, because I don't really, I've never really done it. When I have tried, it hasn't looked the best, but I actually quite happy with how this usually looks in the end. And then finally contouring that jawline. Doesn't make that big of a difference, but every bit helps. I'll bring it down my neck so it doesn't look so dark and badgy. Just whatever's left on the brush. Okay, same brush, but I've got a microfiber actually. I've got a microfiber towel I have in my lap that I just will brush any excess product off into the brush. And I'm going to use the bronzing shade here underneath that banana one. And dipping the brush in. Tapping off excess. Essentially in the same area, but instead of turning the brush like this, I'm going to go over like that cheek area. And with that coming into the forehead, come down here, closer down. Still sort of mixing it in with that contouring, but I like to bring it down a little more. And as you can see, it's adding quite a bit of warmth now. Now, bronzing wise, I actually go all over the nose. Now onto blush, Maybelline, this Master Highlight one. They don't do this one anymore, but they do it in like a three color combo in its own palette now. So again, I'll link the alternative down below. So blush brush, tapping it in, tap off any excess. And this is again where I don't do it maybe like everyone else. I do it because I do it the way that I actually like it. So I'll actually start up here and start to bring it down, patting it first before I actually, because I don't want too much product. At the smallest amount, and I do actually bring it up here. So again, it's not what everyone else would do, but I like the effect that it gives to my face. Same on the other side. Just put a tad bit around the nose. That's it for blush. Now highlighting, again with the Revlon palette, just this shade here. And I use like a nice fluffy brush, top of the cheek here. And I actually do bring it quite far back. And I run it through the entire end of my eyebrow, because it highlights the bottom and top of my eyebrow. And when I put the eyebrow product or brow powder through it, you can't see it through the actual eyebrow, but I join it. So to me, it's more like an arrow than it is like a C shape. That's how I like to look quite glowing. Highlighting down the nose now. Let's do a line right down the bridge and the top of the lip. Now to set the face. Now this doesn't really do much to elongate it, other than like maybe holds it a little bit extra, but I don't find it makes too much of a difference. But it's because sometimes my face might seem a little powdery. This will do a lot to absorb the rest of the powder. So I'm using the Maybelline Master Fix spray for that, and spray it pretty generously all over. Okay, so that's essentially all I do for my entire face. If anything, maybe a slight powder touch up throughout the day, but I find that this lasts pretty well. So I'll zoom you in so you can see a close-up of my face. Here's my brush. As you can see, I've still got plenty of texture coming through because I've got acne scarring, pimples, all that sort of stuff. So you've got some big acne scars here, some big pores. Like, my skin still looks like skin. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So in about 2 seconds, I'm going to be back with you with the rest of my face done. So that's eyes, eyebrows, lips. And as I said, if you want to see those ones, I'll link them up here, whichever side I can figure out, if it's right or left, you'll see. So with that, I've just finished the rest of my face, so being eyes, eyebrows, and lips. They are separate videos, so I'm going to link, I believe it's up in one of these corners. I think it's this side. I'm going to link or have a little pop-up so you can go and watch that if that's what you would want to do as well, to find out how I did the rest. So thank you so much for watching, especially if you come through to the end right now. And on that note, I'll see you guys next time.